everybody. Hope everybody's all right. And welcome aboard to another Shortwave radio show. Everything seems to be okay. And we are on the Saturday edition of the Shortwave radio stream. That show that talks about ancient technology that is still very useful today. Welcome, everyone. And always nice to have everybody here. So this is the Shortwave radio stream. We talk about radio, about shortwave radio, and about medium wave, long wave, and radio in general. We are here twice a week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's Thursday for a big part of the world because it's 0 hours UTC. And we are here on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's 20 hours Universal Time. Talk about radio, tune the bands, just have fun. And I hope that you will too. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and that's the northeast part of North America. We've been doing this for 7 years now, something like that. And that is pretty amazing. Still remember the first one in the kitchen, and some of you do, of course, with the radio, the ICOM on the dryer. And of course, we slowly moved on to another way of doing it, and some technologies, new technologies that I didn't have back then, no SDRs back then. It was the ICOM and mostly in portables. Now we have, SDR Play devices and the AirSpy HF Plus device and so many other new radios that are interesting to tune around. So I hope that you enjoy the show today and that we will have fun once again. It's a great place to, say, to just come and say hello to everybody. And even if you're new to the hobby, best place in the world for that. I can tell you that. Through email, I want to say hello to Elizabeth in Regina, Saskatchewan, saying hello. And she says she's getting her Saturday fix of the Shortwave live show. And she fired up her Kenwood R5000 to listen along. Cool. Welcome aboard, Elizabeth. We have Richard Lemke also. That is from Alberta. And he's happy. He says that most of the birds are back with the backyard buzzing with activity, which is nice, meaning that we're getting there, getting into the summer months slowly. Also, you were mentioning and asking about some of the baby monitors, if these things would create noise. A lot of devices, of course, can create noise. That's one thing for sure. We often don't know before we plug them in, but I've never had or heard a case of baby monitors that create noise, more noise. And by the way, these are the best because they are the DECT 6.0, which is spectrum technology, meaning that they are encrypted. A lot of people with baby monitors buy the cheap ones that are analog and have no idea that putting baby monitors in your home is like putting an open microphone in your home and everybody can listen in. So these are great because they're encrypted. So welcome aboard, Richard, and I hope that you enjoy the show. We have a beautiful chat room for those that want to join in through the chat room. All you need is a Gmail account, and you can say hi to everybody there. It's a wonderful place to be. And we have a Facebook group that you can join if you want. The Facebook group, official SWL channel. That's where we continue having the fun, and the party continues there. And it is really a great place to be. We're more than 1,700 souls on board the Facebook group. So that's pretty cool. No dangers that it's going to sink in the ocean like the Titanic. We're having fun with radio there, and everybody's sharing their own little, radio world, radio shack, and then what they're doing, what they're listening to. It's really a lot of fun. There's quite a lot of activity on the group too, and of course, a bunch of respectful people that just have fun with radio. That's the basics of why this all exists. Let's just have fun with radio. So. Been tuning around the bands a little bit yesterday evening, but I plan to do more listening tonight. Saturday night, Saturday, Sunday are kind of the 2 days that I kind of devote a little more time to radio. Of course, in the weekdays, I do devote time to radio also. And it's always fun to have everybody here. Another email coming in from Tony in the UK. So hello, Jill, and everyone in the chat room. Hope you all have a good show. His MLE30 should arrive tomorrow. Looking forward to trying it out. Cool. That's going to be fun. You're going to have fun with that, especially in noisy environments. The MLE30 is truly an amazing antenna. And by the way, if you want to say hello and you're not in the chat room or do not chat, official shortwaveradio@gmail.com. Just send a little hello, say where you are from. We'll be happy to say hi during the show. It's fun to have everybody around from around the world. Bobby Burgess, WA5107SWL in Morgan City, Louisiana, USA. Nice to have you here. PA1SBM, nice to have you here. Alex from the Netherlands. Rich, nice to have you here from North Carolina. We have David in Barcelona, EA3IEK, EA49982RESWL from Barcelona, Spain. Nice to have you on board. Michael Thompson, nice to have you here from New Jersey and to NLQ. And yes, everything's going well here. Jared EX, nice to have you on board. And yes, there's that spent rocket booster that is falling back down. But chances of that falling on someone are. You probably have more chances of winning at the lottery than having that thing fall on your head. Gives you an idea. Yet, you never know what happens in life, but chances are pretty slim. Beer today, Fin du Monde. So that's back to the roots of my Fin du Monde beer. Randall Clance, nice to have you on board from Northeast Illinois. Bonjour TVDXer, j'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. Et oui, c'est samedi. Et c'est toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. And TVDXer is just not very far from Montreal. Michael Thompson is wondering why he took German in school. Hi, Brawler. Nice to have you here from Arkansas. M1MBZ. Nice to have you on board. My friend, just I hate it when it jumps like that. Gets tiresome. So from Southwest UK, nice to have you here. Bevaltz, nice to have you here from Latvia. Log 2112, nice to have you on board. Tom DXer, nice to have you here. WPE2QED from the Hudson Valley, New York. Keegan, nice to have you here. XNEDXer from Northwest Arkansas. 81 Fahrenheit. Wow. Summer weather. William Helms, nice to have you here from Florida. Log 2112 is from Nassau Bay, Texas. Christian Marcoux, bonjour, and nice to have you on board. And he says, nope, it's us that thank you for being there. Merci beaucoup. C'est un plaisir d'être ici et de vous avoir parmi les fans des ondes courtes et de ce groupe. Nice to have you here. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue. J'espère que ça va bien là-bas en France. Ici, tranquillement, pas vite, on commence à voir peut-être la lumière au bout du tunnel de la COVID. Alors, on va se croiser les doigts. La vaccination va bon train. P1SBM Alex from the Netherlands. We have N6RLS. Nice to have you on board, Robin, from Berkeley, California. Mickey Dalmage. Nice to have you on board from a rainy Sherwood Park, Alberta. Nice to have you on board, Michel Delmage. But that would make a nice French-Canadian name here in Quebec. Michel Delmage. I would present you to people like that as a Michel Delmage. Nice to have you here. Neil, nice to have you here from Nottingham, UK. Fulvio Schiavon, nice to have you on board from Italy. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have people really, really, truly from all over the world here. Jeff King, Jacksonville, Florida, USA. Aerial Imaging, nice to have you here. Vojislav, nice to have you on board from Serbia. Pretty cool to have you here. K6YYL, nice to have you on board from California. It's another 10-meter day, some activity here and there again so far. Let me just, I'm going to put the CB in channel 6, and I'll put the squelch. And if there's some activity here, the squelch is gonna break through, and we'll hear some of those CB ears. The CB is on the discount right now. Chris 66, nice to have you here from Kentucky. What do we have? Kamagzi 76, nice to have you here from West Michigan. Nice to have you on board. We have our JDA Dakota. Nice to have you on board from Missouri. WA0113SWL. Donald Hosmer, nice to have you on board as usual. And what else do we have? Rob, nice to have you here from Phoenix, Arizona. SWL Fulvio, nice to have you here from Italy. We have, I don't know about y'all, but propagation around my spot on the world ain't been bad this week. Yeah, it was quiet. There were several days without sunspot. It was mainly quiet, but we had some interesting, it's been an interesting week of radio listening. There was a big solar flare from a sunspot that's rotating into view on the sun yesterday, and actually had some crackling noises and sounds that people could have maybe picked up on their shortwave receiver, actually. Because one of these flares happened, actually, you can hear it. It's pretty amazing. What else? William Ryan, nice to have you here from Ireland. Jeff Williams, nice to have you here from Southwest Cornwall, UK. Donald Hosmer is W8SWL in Northern Michigan, and he's got that new Xiegu X5105 transceiver that's arriving on Tuesday, which is between Tuesday and Thursday, I guess. Nice to have you here. Mailman, New Brunswick, nice to have you on board. VE9 RPT. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to have all of you here. We have Keegan saying possible FM e-skip this afternoon and or evening. And I know you are on alert for that. What else do we have? Kevin, nice to have you here, WS2H. And he says that he fired up his standard Horizon Marine radio, but it took 2 hours to find a proprietary charger. Hate that. I always hated the fact, that's something that I always thought there should be, like, regulation. Stop making these weird power adapters and weird, connectors and stuff. Just plug in Just make it standard. Why doesn't everything work with 12 volts, negative center? That's it. Nothing else. Just maybe just a power change because some devices take more power than another. But I mean, everything should be at a standard with these things. You hate it. I have a few devices here that I haven't used in a long time. And I know that the day I'm going to want to use one of them, I am going to go crazy searching for whatever adapter I need to have it working. So it's like, you look at that and, it's even worse that sometimes you do that and it's interesting to to see that sometimes you take something out and you that you don't find the cable and you just like, oh, forget it. I'm not going to continue searching for that. Alan, my Texan 990X arrived yesterday from Nonco. Get a clicking sound. What is the clicking sound that you hear when you tune? Exactly. We need to know exactly what it is. And some warbling sound on SSB. And what is the warbling sound that you hear? Chances of a faulty set are rather small, not impossible. But we would have to have more detail of what exactly do you mean by that. That would be, if you could make a video showing, we would have a better idea of what you mean. That would be nice. As for one thing that I did notice on the 990X, if there are some single sideband signals that are very, very powerful, it sometimes happens that you might need, and I'll make a video on that, you might need to put the DX switch to local or normal. I think it's DX, normal, and local to normal. Very strong SSB signals sometimes can actually distort slightly. And make sure that if you tune SSB, you're not tuning with the sync detector on, but just single sideband. Yeah, if you can make us hear or see what you mean, because I don't know what you mean. It's very easy to think a radio is faulty with all sorts of the all the way that they work, and each radio has its own little unique personality of the electronics, when in reality the majority of them are fine. So just I don't know what you mean by the clicking sound in the speaker when I tune. Could be clicking sound because you have some interference around you. One thing for sure, I hope that you are using it on battery. Don't use it on the included power supply, because that power supply is noisy. It gives a lot of noise in the radio. Did you actually tune some shortwave broadcasts with it, listening to some of the stations? It's very difficult to assess and to know exactly what's happening when we, with just a description of what it is. Because I mean, warbling sound could be so many things. Alex says, I thought that all above 10 Celsius was summer for Canadians. No, I can tell you that we need to be warm, because I can tell you that, yes, indeed, when we get into the month of March and it's 10 Celsius, it's like, we take our clothes off. It's just like, we're fine. But I can tell you, Canada has its very warm weather in the summer. This is, Montreal is a tropical area in the summer. Usually June, July, August is a tough, muggy, and very, very hot in general. It's really tropical here, and almost, I'll say it, I hate the summer itself when it's too hot. And, I like hot when I'm like I say all the time, yeah, I don't care if it's hot, if I'm at the swimming pool or at a beach, that is fine. But for day-to-day activity, I hate it when it's really warm. I actually like the weather we have now, which, brings us at around 70 Fahrenheit, around 20, 21 Celsius. That for me is perfect. But Boy, is it's hot in summer here. So, we also get we get that other side also, that, when we get a hot summer in September, when it's 10 Celsius, we have our coats on. It's like really freezing. Paul, nice to have you on board from Southwest Michigan. Still chilly. Chris 66, nice to have you on board. And the United Nations of Radio this evening. Yes, that would be nice. Welcome to the United Nations of Radio. Keegan heard WWV on 25 megahertz a few minutes before 1730 UT. Wow. I've heard it I've heard it this winter once. I don't remember when, but really, this is a winter thing mostly for me, 25 megahertz. As we get into summer, it doesn't happen often. The 25 makes it. But it's something to try for regularly, honestly. TA2MOK from Turkey, Safi. Nice to have you here. Trim Valley, Mr. Bale. Nice to have you on board from near Portland, Oregon. And chewing on some chocolate. Cool. Chris, G7VEO. Nice to have you on board. And heard the Quebec station on 40 meters last night. And 11 meters was strong with French yesterday. Cool. Nice to have you here. Sorry, guys. We have Bobby Burgess saying WTWW back on 9930. Michael Thompson, MPL 330 batteries arriving tomorrow. Cool. Like I said, I bought this. I don't see it anymore, and when I search for it, but I bought this. Those little Teozi batteries. These are like 1500 milliamp hour BL's 5C battery, and they come with the little charger. So I like to have those spare because you never know when you need them. And I've got 2-3 radios that have a BL5C now. At least 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 radios. I have the Texan PL 330, the Texan PL 368, and the RadioWow that all use BL5C. So I've got 3 BL5Cs there from the original manufacturer of the radio. Then I've got a spare that is actually Nokia branded, because that battery, the BL5C, for a long time was a standard battery for Nokia phones. And I've got these 2 with the charger, which I find really cool because I can charge them and have them ready if the radio needs to have one. Especially the RadioWow. The RadioWow eats batteries when it's not used, which is a flaw, actually. So basically, the RadioWow, if you leave it a month without being used, you're going to see that it doesn't turn on anymore because the battery's dead. So at least by having extra batteries, you can just switch the batteries. Keegan heard activity on 27025 earlier. So it's on here with the squelch. If any activity pops up, it's going to actually break the squelch on my CB. Lock 2112, 2.5, and 25 have already been the hardest. Maxi 76 getting WWV on 20 megahertz today. Let's just, out of curiosity, check it out here. Out of curiosity. So I'm getting 15. That's 15. 15 megahertz is pretty good. And 20. 20 is non-existent. So we're getting 15, but not 20. So, which is typical. Most of the time, 20 is not one that I get very often. I get it more often than 25, but not that often. Paul, 10, 11 meters wasn't open here 2 hours ago. It is now. Cool. Yeah, with Sportic eSkip particularly, you never know when it's going to open. It can open at any time. And that's the cool part of that. Michael Thompson doing 10 meters FT8. Cool. Brad in Amarillo, nice to have you on board, my friend. Was hoping to be known as WB5. XXX is WL someday. No update since late March. Darn it. Okay. Catalin Al, nice to have you, Catalin from Germany. Sergey from St. Petersburg, Russia. Texan PL 390, very good FM receiver. Cool. Welcome aboard, my friend, from St. Petersburg. Nice. Catalin, I found out that the ideal position of a loop antenna is between 1 to 2 times its diameter height from the ground. Yeah, it doesn't need to be. I mean, of course, if you have a huge loop, it's important. But a thing like an MLA 30 doesn't need to be very high to be to actually work well. René Charbonnier, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. Graham, nice to have you on board from Milton, Ontario. 15 Celsius today. Cool. Nice to have all of you here, my friends. What else do we have? Looking at the email. Nothing else right now. What else do we have? Arthur Alicrafter's Kitchen. Greetings from Massachusetts. Spent the day thrifting and out at yard sales. Bought some Victor records from the early 1900s. One overpriced Radio Shack radio that I did not buy. Just a nice day. Yeah, I like to go yard sales. There not been many because of the pandemic. People are kind of not doing anything like that right now. But I can't wait when things come back and I see all of these yard sales back up. And yard sales for me is, I don't see a lot of stuff that I'm interested in. I mean, most people sell what I mostly call junk. But sometimes from time to time you'll go to one and you'll notice that there's a radio, or I mostly look at radios, anything that could have to do with computers, especially if you have old stuff. It's at the yard sale that I found the Amiga 500, and it's so funny because the Amiga 500 came with a joystick, came with about 100 original games. They are really original games with these sleeves that are, from the manufacturer of that game. Came with, of course, the Workbench discs, which are very necessary to have the operating system. It came with the TV modulator device. I mean, everything I needed was in the box with the power supply and all. I still remember when the guy, I asked the guy, I was expecting the guy to tell me like, I want 200 for it. And I still remember I looked at the guy, says, "Oh, Amiga 500, how much you're asking for it?" He said, "Oh, $20. Okay. I got no problem with $20. He would have told me $100 and I would have shed $100. I would have said, yeah, sure. I wouldn't even have bargained at $100. It's like the Commodore 128. I went to a flea market that's not very far from here, and the guy had this box with original games for Commodore 64 with joysticks, with a few game cartridges, and when I went to the flea market, I looked and said to the guy, "How much are you asking for?" And the guy says, "How about $10?" And I said, "Yeah, cool, no problem." Then he looked at me and said, "If I would have been higher, would you have purchased it?" I said, "Well, not very high, but yeah, if you would have told me $40, I would have said, yeah." I would have said, okay, I'll take it. There were like probably 200 games in there, in original sleeves and everything. I think it was 2 joysticks in the box. a pair of paddles also. So, when I saw that, it's like, yeah, $40, I would have said yes. I mean, each individual game on eBay is like, 10, 15, $20 sometimes. And I mean, these are old games for old computers. But, I said, I would have paid maybe $40, but like I told him, I said, don't forget that there are tons of these everywhere. So the value isn't very high because you get those. I mean, imagine how many Commodore 64s are still in an attic or a basement somewhere at somebody's house. There must be millions of them. They sold so many that there are tons of them still in, probably in their box somewhere in a basement. There were a lot of them. And I mean, that was the best selling. The Commodore 64 was the best selling computer of all time. So, Danut BE, nice to have you here. Spartak EE skip is coming. So far, have you received signal on CB and 4-meter band? Now, 4-meter band here, I never, because that's a very European thing. Never tried 4-meter band. But CB regularly. CB was actually, there was Spartak E-skip a couple of nights this week. I was hearing some stations from the US on Channel 6, the Super Bowl Channel 6. Andy Coley, nice to have you here. PLF Radio, I was able to hear about local airports Addis with the XH data D808, but it was not very clear but audible. I'm 10 and 20 kilometers away from the airports. Yeah. Lock 2112. So yeah, here the airport is about from line of sight distance. The straight line distance from the airport to here is roughly, I'd say, at least 30 kilometers. Because even though the airport is on the island of Montreal, the island of Montreal is very big. It's a good 30, 35 kilometers away from where I live. So I'm not hearing the tower very strong here. When I listen, I do hear it, but I hear mostly the planes. M1MBZ says heard a station from Prince Edward Island, 40 meters, around 1 a.m. UTC this morning. Cool. Franco AC, nice to have you on board from the UK. Great channel. Anyone noticed calibration issues on the analog Texan radios? My RS7700DX is about 10 kilohertz out on the frequency reading. Precision of frequency readouts on analog radios are very common. This is, something that pretty much all radios have. Honestly, if you have 10 kilohertz off on an analog dial, I would actually consider that to be amazingly precise for an analog radio. Most of the analog radios I got here are like way off on their scales. I had a few radios that over time, I actually took a marker and made my own little markings on the display. Like, okay, this is 10 megahertz, not that. Mickey Delmage, WV on 5, 10, 15, and 20 megahertz in Alberta. So pretty cool. Leo Main, nice to have you here, Leo. And nice to have you in a live show. What else do we have? WWV25 and 2.5 are less than 10 kilowatts. Yeah, I think they're 5 kilowatts each. They're a little weaker. I get 2.5 starting, now we're in summer, so it takes a little more time. I'd say I'll start hearing 2.5 around 03 UTC-ish. That's 11 p.m. That's when I start hearing 2.5 here. And 25 is mostly a winter thing here, but it can happen at any time. It's just a question of checking it out regularly. We have. What do we have? What do we have? Chris, Cookie the cat is watching the show. Where's Paul? Paul is sleeping in the living room, actually. So, Leo, working the third shift now. Nice to have you on board from Florida, my friend. Don't work too hard. Try to keep the energy level up. Retro Man, nice to have you here. Bought a Uniden scanner. Cool. Carl Icon, New York checking in. Anybody know how they're tracking Long March 5B? Is it satellite or radar? Is CRI broadcasting anything about it? I haven't listened to a CRI. I wouldn't be surprised they possibly talk about it. I don't think they would be hiding it. And as for tracking, it's radar. We are using radar to check out the satellites in orbit and all the debris that we could find. It's really using radar. And the Chinese, the Chinese space station is actually quite easy to see also in the night sky. Diego, nice to have you here. Got myself a Grundig Satellite 750. I've had it for so long that the squelch doesn't work on it anymore. The analog controls kind of failed it. The other stuff is fine. Love your channel. Cool. Nice to have you here. Yeah, that's pretty much what I look for also, Michael Thompson. You know, the rest, I don't care about. There's so much junk that people try to sell. It's like, I'm amazed that somebody somewhere actually buys something. You know. Mel, you know, you're locked down when you ice down in anticipation of your broadcast, a bottle of wine. Cheers from Seattle. Cheers, my friend. Well, it's, you know, at least it's entertainment. We are a bunch of people together. Kind of cool. Mad Reader DXer, nice to have you on board from the UK. Oh yeah, I know. $20 was a bargain. I totally know that. I would have paid 100. He would have said 100. I would have said, yeah, sure, why not? Especially since it had so much with it too. That, you know, it was cool. I mean, if it did not have the output for the TV, just that, the modulator, I would have had no way of displaying it on something because the output of the Amiga is like RGB or something. And I would not have had anything to display it. I would have had to purchase something to make it work. You know, even that, if I didn't have that modulator output thing, I'm not even sure I would have purchased it because I would have thought, well, I got nothing to display the Amiga on. Maybe I would have purchased it anyway and thought, well, you know, I'll find something on eBay, or maybe I'll find one of those modulators on eBay. Honestly, the modulator on the Amiga 500 is crappy. It's a very crappy thing. It plugs in the port where usually you would plug in an RGB monitor. The problem is that it is doing very crappy job of sending out the TV out signal in composite. So the colors are kind of washed out a little bit. And also the biggest problem is, I mean, it just doesn't work that well, honestly. And I would, you know, I was looking, I have a converter box here, and I was wondering if somebody ever made a converter box that takes an RGB signal and just upscales it to HDMI in some way. Maybe somebody did that somewhere. But these converter boxes are very, very expensive. So here, what I did is I actually have a converter box that takes anything that is either S-video or composite and sends it to 1080 HDMI 1080 out. and it's a nice little box. It works fine, and it avoids it. It lets me use that on any TV, and it works great. Of the Dawn, born in the USA. Nice to have you here, my friend. Of the Dawn, I always wanted a Sega Saturn. A friend of mine has all of those. I have a friend of mine that has all the consoles that you can dream of. He buys everything. Like 2112, hearing what he thinks can be code and radar on 8255 to 8273 USB. Driver Films Shortwave, nice to have you on board. Oh, there's some breakthrough here. Yep. Some skip happening on Super Bowl Channel 6 here. Hearing some activity. Hearing some activity on the CB. Of the Dawn, if you put two radios in a sealed enclosure for 1,000 years, would something happen? 1,000 years, one thing for sure is that the electronics will degrade over time. Would they still be working in 1,000 years and thinking that they are sealed and there's no water, no humidity, no major change in temperature? Good question. It actually goes down to, does electronics last? Would electronics last 1,000 years unused? There's a good chance that some parts will actually give up, especially capacitors. That's an interesting one. John Hummel Newell, nice to have you here. Yes, Montreal is an island. We are surrounded by the St. Lawrence River on the south and the Rivière des Prairies, or Prairie River, on the north side. So the only way to get off of Montreal is to go through a bridge. We've got several bridges on the south shore and the north shore, and even on the east and left side. So we need to cross a bridge to get out of the city. Montreal is an island. Absolutely. A lot of people don't know that. It's like people from that, especially, from the US or whatever, even Western parts of Canada. And I don't think that many people know that Montreal. They know Montreal is the city, a big city, but is that it's an island? It's another story. Not that many people actually know that. Michael Clark, nice to have you here from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Rufus Newt from Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Yeah, if you use the outer braid of a TV coax cable, you could make a wire with it. Absolutely, and make a long wire or wire antenna with it. Yeah, that would work. That would definitely work. Absolutely. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here from Tennessee. Dave Dufault, nice to have you here from Indy. And Of the Dawn says we went with 64 because it looked so much better, but something about nights that made you want it. It was it was an interesting machine. Roberto Rojas, nice to have you on board, my friend. Chin chin, take care. Jet Crafter, nice to have you on board on relaxing on a Saturday afternoon in Southern Maine. Rich ATL, nice to have you on board. Lots of great DX RTTY in 20 meters if someone wants to have fun identifying stations from Europe and Asia. Nice to have you on board. Paul is the chairman. Meow. I like that. Of the Dawn, do you remember a Canadian show called Beachcomber? Of course, I remember the Beachcomber. I do remember that for sure. Wow, it's been a long time that I've seen that. God, I do remember that, of course. It's like all the American, all the there are a lot of shows, like Daniel Boone and stuff like that. That I there's a channel on YouTube that is dedicated to old, like theme songs of old TV shows. I mean, you go there and you start like you go back in time, literally. Your brain brings you back to when you were a kid with all the TV shows that played back then. There's so many things that one that brought me back a few weeks ago. They had some channels that were cable TV does that from time to time. They like take channels that you don't have, and they put it on free of charge for a couple of weeks for you to view in case you want to. And there's one called Deja Vu, and I was going through the channels, and I heard the Three's Company theme song, and I was like, oh my God, I am 19. I am not even that. I am like 10 years old again with Jack Tripper and all. It's like, oh boy. Pretty crazy. PITF Radio, did you test the AN200 with your new radios? No, I did not, and I need to do so. I really need to do so. It's for some reason I keep forgetting, and probably because it's where it is. I don't see it easily, so it doesn't come to mind. But it's up there. I need to do it absolutely, and I need to make videos of it. What else do we have? What else do we have? Nope. Nothing alien right now, Ryan. What else do we have? Tom the Xer says Radio Outlet has the AM200 loop antenna for sale at $14.95. That's a good price. It's a very, very good medium wave antenna. William, nice to have you on board. Ozzy KC9 TVN. Pretty cool. Graham says 27285 is interesting with a bit of salty language. Hey, it's CB Radio. It's CB Radio. Man Reader DXR, connect the Amiga via Composite to a device that gives scan lines on HD TVs to avoid blocky graphics. Works well. Okay. Yeah. My upscale thing, HDMI thing that I have here is actually makes the graphics a little better also by kind of the way that it up converts. And also what's nice with the little converter there is there's a 60-50 hertz button depending on what you're going to watch also. Driver film shortwave, 10-meter band, open all day as per usual. I've missed it. It's always like that. And then you want to do it and everything's down and everything's closed. Oh, man. Pretty crazy. William Helm says capacitors surely will dry in a radio. They have to be used to use them. Any R75s out there? Yeah, they're getting more difficult. Getting more difficult to find. Jetcrafter, are you hearing anything about from Conicom about their version of the PL368? Yep, absolutely. I've got some news in the last week or so. Hang in there, it's coming. They're really close of getting that thing out. It will be known as the GP7 SSB. Will have some improvements over the Chinese PL368 to make it a little sturdier, including the telescopic antenna. So it's not far away from being released. Sid, nice to have you here from Central UK. Joe Gomez, nice to have you here from San Diego, California. Scott KC2C80, North of 60 was the best show ever. Yeah, North of 60, I remember that. Canadian radio TV guy from Short Park, Alberta, celebrating my mother's birthday later tonight. Cool. Happy birthday. Moray Mac, nice to have you on board from Scotland. Nice to have you here. Calling home, nice to have you here from Northwest Mexico. 1MBZ's trying to repair a damaged PCB track on an AirSpy HF Plus using some very thin copper wire. Yeah, that must be really very, very delicate operation. That thing is so small. So small. Ralph Crandon, nice to have you on board from a cool, breezy southern New Jersey. Keegan has an RCA branded digital TV converter box with an HDMI output. Fernando, listening to a station on 210. I am from Florida. The other night I was listening to Radio Algiers on 256, but can't ID the one on 210. Anybody can help here? What is on 210? That frequency doesn't ring a bell for any long wave station. Christian Marco, if I hook up the MLA30 on the Pro 26 scanner, will it damage it since the MLA is powered? No, because the MLA30 power is not on the connector for the radio. That's what a bias T does. That little box that comes with the antenna separates the power from the signal. Because if that power would go into your radio, it would actually damage any radio you plug in. So that's why that bias T exists. It's there to remove the electricity part, the power of it, and just keep the signal for your radios to use. So the MLA30 is safe to use on any radio you're going to use it on. Sid, what antenna receive do you have so I can receive on two devices off my MLA30? Oh, the antenna. Yeah, it's an expensive device, but it works fine. Mine is what is called an multi-coupler. It's a Streetsburg Engineering multi-coupler. Mine is the MCA104M. It is 4 ports. They have one with 2, 4, 6, and 8 ports, something like that. Streetsburg Engineering. Check that out, MCA104M. A little expensive, but they are really, really good. And you'll be able to actually use, for example, your MLA30 on, in my case, up to 4 devices at the same time. Log 2112, hearing the U.S. Navy 9831 USB. Nice to have you here, Matt, MDK2 in Denver, Colorado. Charity X. Chinese rocket is a lifetime supply of rice. Oh, God, please. Fortune cookies, yeah. What's in your future? You'll be struck in your backyard by a debris. Imagine you go at the Chinese, get some Chinese takeout, and the cookie says, "You'll be hit by Chinese debris this afternoon." Oh, God. No problem, Sid. Happy to give the info. Fernando, the amp from Cross Country Wireless is incredible. I have both MLA30. Plus, in the cross country is much better than the MLA30. And what about the pool idea? Huh. So welcome, everybody. Hey, I'm already down at the bottom of the chat today. That's interesting. So, hey, everyone. Welcome aboard once again. And it's always nice to have all of you here. Um, we're going to continue the show talking about radio, tuning the bands. Let's check out any pirates, anything. Anybody heard something interesting this week on shortwave? Station that maybe you don't hear very often. Something that surprised you in any way? So HF Underground. Let's check out if any pirates are on right now. So according to HF Underground, nothing in the pirate field right now. But you never know. Like, the night is young, and Saturday is perfect time for pirate radio activity. While I'm at it, we're going to answer a few questions that I got this week. I do like to answer them live, because what's nice with these questions is that when somebody asks a question, chances are a lot of people are asking the same question. So the first one about the MLA30. So we have a user. His name is Mark, and he's in the southeast part of Maine. He says that he actually has received the MLA30, and so to make it a little quicker, so he got the MLA30. He had a little hard time setting it up, understanding how to set it up. When I say, sometimes what is very simple for us, we forget that for some others, it's not that simple. And there is a need sometimes for a minimum of install, kind of showing a little more on how it actually works when you install one. So his question was, of course, of how would I go? So he says that he's got 5 or 6 different places where he's thinking of installing it, and he was kind of he was wondering, how would I go about testing how to and where it should be installed? So if you have several spots, one thing that I would probably do would be to start off with just a little makeshift setup that I can easily change from one place to the other, and try it at any spot that you have available. What will be the most important criteria in your MLA30 install is noise. Because even though, we do say that in a noisy environment, the MLA30 is where it's used. That's where it should be used to work well. The problem that still happens is that if you put it in a very noisy place, it's still going to be noisy, because it is going to pick up some of that noise. It's not a miracle antenna that sheds away or ignores the noise around you. It's just that it ignores certain components of certain type of electrical noise. So think about it, where the noise level might be the lowest. You can even try with your portable radio. Go around to these spots with it. And if your portable radio shows you that there's less noise in this place than any other place, then maybe you already have an answer that's where you're going to put it, because it's quieter there. Maybe that's where it needs to be. The second question he asks is orientation. East, west, and how did you decide on your orientation? Mine was kind of naturally done, lowest noise possible. So in my case, that gave me a orientation that is roughly northeast. The loop is northeast to southwest. And I mostly looked at the noise level. So what I did is I in my case, I took my laptop with the SDR via remote desktop on Windows. So I could control the SDR. I could see the SDR's noise floor and everything. I put the SDR on a few signals, and I turned the loop. And where the best signal was and the lowest noise possible was, this is where I put it, and it stays like that. the other thing that he's asking is about medium wave DXing. Now, medium wave DXing will be a little trickier because that will require you, if you want to be serious in medium wave DXing, to have a way of rotating the loop. So you might need a rotor to actually rotate the loop for medium wave. Why? Because on shortwave signals that are very far away, there's almost no difference whatever orientation you give it. It's really when things get closer that you start seeing a very important directional pattern to signals. And on medium wave, you'll see that, because on medium wave, you'll see immediately that when you turn it, you null out stations and you have others coming in stronger and so on. So for medium wave and even long wave reception, that will be the best thing to do. We'll have a way to rotate the antenna. The other question he asked about it is performance across, the full spectrum. Let's just say that on shortwave, it's a pretty good performer overall. I see it kind of losing a little bit of its sensitivity when you start getting above 20 megahertz. It's just not as performant as maybe some other antennas could be. Where I also see a drop in its performance is when you go below about 3 megahertz. Below 3 megahertz, I noticed, for example, with the W6 LVP that I had in the front, since they were close, I could actually have a real test. The W6 LVP started showing that it was better below 3 megahertz, which gives me an idea that if I didn't have that filter, my W6 LVP would probably be a better medium wave AM radio antenna than the ML830. The ML830 drops off. That said, it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad and doesn't receive. It still receives quite well. It's just that it's maybe not up to par with some other loops in those ranges of frequencies. But for the overall shortwave spectrum, for the most part, it's great. The W6 LVP I got here, which is much more expensive, most of the frequencies on shortwave, I see absolutely no difference. That MLE30 is as good. So that's why I always say I can't really justify anybody would buy a very expensive loop when you have that MLE30 that's $40-ish, $45, $50, and is so amazing for what it is. And it's so cheap that, if you're not sure, just buy one. When I see somebody saying, yeah, but it's $40, it's nothing. A loop, a real expensive loop. Look at Wellbrooks. You're going to be like, yeah, but for the price, now you should hesitate. But an MLA30, there's no hesitation to have. Get one. Try it. If it doesn't suit your needs, or it doesn't work like you think, or it doesn't work well for you, it's for $45. You're not going to go crazy losing, purchasing something for $45-$50 to try it out. But it's a different thing when you buy an expensive loop. You got to think twice before buying an expensive loop. Will it actually bring shortwave to a level that is worth the price of those loops? That's another story. So these were the questions that we had here, for sure. What else do we have? What else do we have? Canadian radio TV guy, really good band conditions lately. 90-30, world's last chance overloaded is MLA30 the other night. That's good propagation. Mobile Armored Strike Command. Nice to have you on board. Dave says lots of the usual pirates around 6925 upper sideband last night. Like 2112. Anyone hearing HM01? I can seem to find them lately, not on my regulars. So, Jerry, maybe you're full of Texan radios. Ricardo S, nice to have you here. Space Junk, Devo, yes. Derek, nice to have you on board. WWRB on 50/50 was a nice surprise in Cairo. Yeah, that's a good catch in Cairo. 50/50 WWRB. That would be a pretty good catch, actually. Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael Thompson, MLA 30 is the unofficial or receive loop of the channel. Pretty much. Yeah, I think it's 16180 at this time. I don't know. Let's check it out. Do I have anything here? 16180. Anything here? Oh, there's a weak carrier. It's not very strong. There's a very weak carrier, which is probably HM01. Absolutely. That's their main frequency, usually Saturday frequency. Randy, nice to have you here from Riverside, California. Dave uses a flagpole holder on a board for my MLA 30 when indoors. Cool. Cool. Matt can hear the Kim and Lady now on 16180. So they're on the air. What else do we have here? It's very weak here. Sometimes it's stronger than that. Jake Fielder, nice to have you here. Where located? Josh. Oops. Go back here. Josh from Oregon. Been having fun on shortwave with this little Ubitix radio. It's been awesome. Cool. The idea is to have fun. The MLA plus 30 plus / U loop hybrid works well below 3 megahertz. Yeah, it's not that it doesn't work. Like I said, the MLA 30 works. It's just that it isn't as good on lower frequencies as maybe other loops. Yeah, size of a loop might actually be interesting also. M1MBZ, like he says, MLA 30 is hackable. You can try larger, smarter loops. Yeah, for the price, you can try. I'll experiment with it and have fun. Simply have fun. So, Blind Picker, nice to have you on board. Rob from Connecticut, W0RAB. Rich, I am hearing CW on 9448.5. CQAFD to NSS, QSX10. Any idea what that is? You're hearing that right now? Let me just, I'm curious. 948.5. CW. Anything here? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, look at that. That's interesting. It's almost as if it's a... that's interesting. CQAFD. And I'm hearing it here. That is interesting signal. 448.5. Check something here. 9448.5 kilohertz CW. CQ. What is that station? Trying to find any information I can get here. I'm not finding any. NSS, isn't that the Navy? Anybody has an idea what that is? That sounds like the Navy or something. NSS. That is so interesting. William Helms, question in the Facebook group about the MLE30 on just the aerial or a portable radio. I would say with a coax, about 40 feet long, short braid together, series connected center. ELVR Galarga. Is it possible to get US shortwave stations in the UK? Absolutely. And actually, a lot of people get across Europe here, WRMI and WWCR easily. Kevin, I have a C Crane Radio 2E medium wave champ. I can honestly say because of my noisy location here between New York City and Philadelphia, my MLE30 and SDR play receives more DX. Yeah, with noisy environments, it's an amazing antenna, and that's also an amazing setup together. That is interesting. That Morse code station on 9448.5. Daniel, nice to have you on board from Baltimore, Maryland. Amateur radio station N3WJH. Brad and Amarillo. Oh, yes. The Armed Forces Day. It's Armed Forces Day. Absolutely. Thanks, you guys. I completely forgot about that. Today's Armed Forces Day. They're doing some, they're even doing some crossband with amateur radio activity. There's Mars stations. There's all sorts of things. Oh, fun. Oops, sorry. I almost said the bad word. Fudge. So yeah, that is. And NSS is the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. So it's that's the Navy. So the frequency log 2112 is 9448.5 CW. Or if you don't have CW on a radio, you guys can tune 9447 upper sideband. Is going to work. Broad skilling, there's not really much signal loss in an MLE30 because it's an amplified antenna. So what comes out of the amplifier can make a pretty long distance in that cable. It's not like receiving a very weak signal that you would get normally out of just an antenna. So you can go quite far. Mobile Armored Strike Command, historic U.S. Navy call sign NSS, will be reactivated during the 100th anniversary of the former naval radio station in Annapolis, Maryland. Cool, guys. Thanks for the info. Mark Schmidt, nice to have you here from Maine. So it's kind of cool, and thanks, Rich, for bringing it up. It's kind of nice to hear it. I hear it quite well here too. Really cool to have that. So, wow, cool. Mobile Armor Strike Command transmissions on CW and SSB will take place on 4038.5, 5330.5, 7533.5, 9447, 14487, and 17545. So yeah, they're doing crossband talk with the amateur stations on amateur radio bands. I totally forgot about that today. And we talked about it on the International Radar Report last week. And I totally forgot it. So, well, you don't need a waterfall, Dave, to verify the mode. Just by ear, you know it's Morse code, and you know what it is. You don't need to have anything special to identify. Just your ears are enough to identify a mode. So it's Armed Forces Day. Yep, that's why there's a lot of activity. Oh, it was May 15, 2021. So, but it's this week. We talked about it last week for this week, if I'm not mistaken. Because there's the crossband, amateur radio crossband stuff going on today. So it has something to do with that, anyways. Mike Thompson, my Belka DX arrived today. Wow, it's beautiful and tiny. Now I need to read what all the modes are. Too much interference in the house, and external antenna would be much better, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. Who is sending CW? It's the U.S. Navy. Daniel. Canadian Radio TV guy, 14820. You probably are. You're not getting the Sound of Hope, Canadian Radio TV guy. You're getting the CNR1 jammer from China. Sound of Hope is not heard anywhere else than probably a few places there. It's like 100 watts. It is jammed heavily by China Radio, not China Radio, but the CNR1 or Chinese National Radio 1 that they use to jam all the frequencies. So if you're picking that up, it is coming from Asia still, because it is the transmitter in near Beijing, China. But it is CNR1 jamming 14820. So that's what you're hearing. So it's always CNR1 jamming it. I'll say like Glenn Hauser said once in his World Radio show. It's like, guys, stop saying you're hearing Sound of Hope. It's not. It's China National Radio 1. That's it. Oh, man. Like 2112, really good this past week. Near 20 new logs, 30 new logs, and a shortwave log. Today, nothing. So what else do we have? Chaz Tank, nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. Radio Club of America doing a QSO party, says John Hummel Newell. Cool. I mount names. Any ideas on clicks and pops SDR radio? I'm in the mountains, no external noise. What's the exact question? I don't totally get it. Nice to have you here. Log 2112, that's the beauty of shortwave radio. An hour from now, I might just clean up. Andy says, Preacher on 14328 USB. Weird. That's the amateur band. Rich says, if it had been for the waterfall, I would have missed the signal. Yeah, that is, I don't know how many times it happened to me. Seeing a signal, you're tuning around and you see the signal pop up and you're like, oh, that looks interesting, and you click on it. I have to say, personally, I also have received so many things that I would have missed them if it was not that I see them pop up on the waterfall. For that, it's so cool. So cool. Really cool. What else do we have? Joe Rodman, nice to have you here from Chicago area. RCW Radio, greetings from Campania worldwide from Chile. We closed broadcast for today, 21 UTC through South America, poor condition at short and medium distance at 7610 kilohertz. Interesting. And when does these broadcasts happen? Canadian Radio TV guys got radio in New Zealand, 13840. Log 2112 has AL141A missed the code on 8692. So it's pretty cool tuning around and checking out these signals. It's a new radio, the exact model you had reviewed and are using since the moment I turned it on. It is giving me almost like digital noise, little pops and crackles as I listen. Other than that, works fine. Yeah, the only thing I could suspect is maybe you're having too much noise from the computer, because SDRs can pick up a lot of noise from the device, the computer you're using, if they're not set up properly. Bruce Bernard, nice to have you here from South Florida. And you're watching the Shortwave show. So yes, absolutely, lots of communication. So it's nice to hear that little Morse code signal that we heard here. What else do we have? Let's check out any interesting signals here in the band. 31 meter band seems to be having quite a few. Man, the World's Last Chance is coming in quite well, actually. World's Last Chance is 9330.
Unsere Natur verwandelt und sie mit dem Göttlichen eins macht. Das ist der Punkt, an dem unsere menschlichen, fleischlichen
Last Chance,
9330. Körper, die unsterblich sind.
He said, well, I don't think it's going to hurt you, but let's see.
9265, which is, I think, WINB.
As alcohol, and she poured that peroxide right on that open wound, and all of a sudden it started foaming up, and it looked like lemon meringue pie right there on my knee. And I'll tell you something, I looked at that, it didn't burn a bit. Thank God for peroxide, and I tell you what, I believe
that's WINB 9265.
See this, you take that, we do this, you do that. In German, they call it steel rolling. Okay, if you want to upgrade.
9395 WRMI. Greece, not up to par as it could be, but 9420, voice of Greece. Radio Marti on 9565. Check out what's left. WTWW, real strong on 9930, sorry. WRMI 9955.
Swindoll and John so-and-so. Oh, my God.
And we have WV on 10 megahertz. They're some stuff to listen to as we're getting a little ahead in time as the time goes by. We still have, here we're like 3 hours away from sunset. So, hey, Joey D, nice to have you on board. Have you ever tried Hemisphere before? Every time I try it, it won't let me download it. Is it worded for simulated radio? I've tried Hemisphere a long time ago. I still have some emails from time to time saying, "Hey, remember you got your call sign." Look, it's a simulation of two-way radio through the internet. For someone that likes that style, because it's not. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's not. It's just not. For me, it's just not radio and doesn't feel like radio because it's through the internet. But I know, some people will like that and have fun with that. It depends on everybody. I think it depends what you're searching for and what you want. If you're wanting to be radio, it's not that, and you're not going to have fun necessarily. But if you are looking at a ham radio style communication system through the internet, it's okay. It works. It does the job. It all depends what you're searching for. Log 2112, 8 cars going like gangbusters here. I know it's up there, but it all I can seem to get for digital though. Jay Gilbert, nice to have you on board from Melbourne. Jace, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have people from all over the world. Bruce, is it difficult to open the Russian Malachite SDR to put the battery in? I don't know. Charity X, can anybody answer that question? Those of you that have that Russian Malachite SDR? So, Dave, Radio New Zealand, very good. 13840 in Indy. Usually get them on 15720. I'll try it, but usually at this time, it's not the time we're going to get that signal much here in Montreal. So let's check it out. Anything on 13840. Very weak trace, but the problem is on 13845, I have that very strong signal from WWCR. There is a Radio Havana, Cuba on 13740.
Así como los asintomáticos que se mantiene sobre el 50%, 41,9 en el día de ayer. El doctor Iván García.
That's Radio Havana, Cuba 13740.
Y es necesario, es un llamado a la familia cubana, a la población en general.
Let's check out what's on the 20-meter band. So, anything on 20 meters of interest. Oh, there's some digital modes here. "20 meters is really quiet here today. I don't see much happening. Usually have much better
Roger, Whiskey 5, Zulu Echo. Whiskey 5, Zulu Echo, Stefan.
20 meters is usually a little better than that, so I don't know if conditions maybe are a little weak this afternoon. But Kind of interesting. What frequency NSS? Well, I was hearing 9448.5 CW here. Ham radio crash course. The microtransactions on the ham sphere is nuts. They charge real money for simulated antennas. Yeah, I don't know. I've barely touched it, and it's been a long time since I've checked it. I can tell you that. What else do we have? What else do we have? Getting European ACARs on 135.725. Huh. Bruce, getting Cuba like in South Florida. Yeah, very quiet here. Very quiet on 20 meters here. Canadian Radio TV guys is in Alberta, pretty good. RAF Volmet, Royal Air Force Volmet on 11253. Let's check it out here if I'm hearing it well. It's interesting to see how different propagation is everywhere. Very, very weak. I'm actually, I think, hearing the RWM. Yeah. It's not super strong, but 9996. 9996. I'm hearing the steady tone of RWM time signal out of near Moscow, Russia. That tone that you hear, 9996 CW. It's not super strong, but it's there. I heard it last night, all night. I was surprised, like all evening yesterday, I could hear the time pips from the RWM Moscow, Russia time signal on 9996. Pretty crazy. Carl Icon, Overcomer Ministry, propagating on 9350. Yep. I jumped over it. Every time I hear stare, I just don't even talk about it. It's like, yeah, let's move on. Michael Thompson getting some 10-meter FT8, multiple contacts down to Brazil. You make me think, guys, that I always forget, but the I've got the Yisu FT450 also on the MLA30 right now, which is something I should check out. I've got the ICOM, but the ICOM is on right now on nothing because the discount is being used here. So kind of interesting. What's that signal there? Let's check it out here. Let's check out the signals I see here. So here, let's go here. Let me try something. CW. We still here, 9448. 5. Yeah. So 9448.5 is that Navy station. And they're asking for a reply on 10126. So let's go on 10126 and see if there's some replies. 10126 being the amateur band the 30-meter amateur band. So that's what they're doing. They're doing cross-band communications today. So it's on 9448.5, and it's telling every amateur station, if you want us to reply to us, reply on 10126 in CW. And so that's how they can do cross-band between amateur and the Navy station on 9448.5, which is kind of cool. So pretty cool. Keegan has FM E-skip reported, New Jersey to Newfoundland. Dave's got the Royal Air Force vomit. Terry Cook, nice to have you here, KF7BQ. Goupil team says 10-meter band been open all afternoon in France, 6-meter a little while. Canadian Radio TV guy, what broadcaster is on 15740? Check out if I hear anything here. I've got nothing here. At this time, 15740. What's on 15740? Nothing is listed here. Is it in English? What language is it? Because there's 15740. Has nothing here. There could be the CNR1 jammer on 15745 if it sounds like Chinese. But nothing on 15740 right now. What language does it sound like? Out of curiosity. Urban Exploration Mexico, nice to have you on board. Good afternoon. Joe Brown, Cuban Spy number lady on 16180, Southeast Michigan. Take care, Michael Thompson. Have a good dinner. Dimitri, nice to have you on board. Happy May 9th day and Russian military parade. It's Mother's Day. Yep. M1MBZ, closest signal I'm getting, 15740 is WRMI, so 15770. Yeah, on 15740, there's nothing here. Nothing is listed also. So it'd be interesting to see what language maybe it is, what it sounds like. The closest signal that is possible here is 15745, which is the China National Radio jamming Sound of Hope, I believe. Yep, 15770 is Radio Prague via WRMI. I often listen to that one when it comes in clear. So 15770. That is that is definitely French. So for those that want to listen to Radio Prague, the 15770 kilohertz, and it is from 21 to 22 UTC. They have Radio Prague in English from 21 to 2130, and Radio Prague in French from 2130 to 2200 UTC. So I often listen to both signals in the afternoon because this is the time when I have a little drink, start thinking about, cooking supper. And what I do is I put 15770, listen to Radio Prague's program. So Radio Prague via WRMI transmitter on 15770. Dave, I'm really enjoying my MLA30, but I have an opportunity to put up a 100 feet sloper with a 9-1 balun, and I'm going to explode my Texans with overload signals. Overloading doesn't damage a radio at all. It just overloads it. It's not like really having, a transmitter almost transmit in it. If you have overloading, you'll just see that it degrades reception and it doesn't work well. Also, remember, Dave, about the noise. It could be a good idea if you have low noise, but if it's very noisy where you are, that 100 feet sloper is going to be noise, mostly. So, but try it. Do try it, because it's the best way to see, the best way to know if it's going to work. Try it. But even if you overload the radio, it's not going to damage a radio. I get that from time to time. People saying, I'm afraid to put too long of a wire. I'm afraid I'm going to damage the radio. You're not. If it overloads, you're going to start hearing spurious signals everywhere. You'll understand that it's overloading, but it's not going to damage the radio. Sikaris. Just heard a station from Fiji, from NorCal on 10 meters, FT8. Wow. Yeah. It could be some Chinese jammer or something. It's not impossible. You're on the, you know what? I'm going to check something here. Check the Aoki list. Sometimes the Aoki list might have something. List. Aoki shortwave list. I don't know. I do not know what that is. So it's on 15740. I got nothing here. So anybody's guess. So if it's in Chinese or something, it could be a new frequency for the Chinese jammer or something. It could be that. Oh, I would guess it's CNR1. Probably China National Radio 1. So what's happening, David, KJ4CMY? Why are you blocking all these posts? There's nothing bad on these posts. What are you doing? What the hell are you blocking all of that? There's nothing bad in these and the posts. Terry Cook, Army Mars, Air Force Mars, and shares amateur radio interoperability nets on 60-meter channel 5330.5 first week of each month. Yep, that's also cool. Lots of interesting stuff there. Robbie Strike, nice to have you here from Kingston, Ontario. Nikki Dalmage has it measured at 15740.122. That is interesting. What could that be? And you guys on that side probably hear a lot of the stuff from something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. Something is not right with that guy. David. What the hell? David KJ4CMY. Check something here. Moderators. What's happening here? Check it out here. Okay, be careful because be careful, man, because I'm going to remove moderator status if you can't be careful with that. So this is okay. That. Okay, where were we? So we are at that Chinese signal in 15740. Which is which we don't know what it is. There we go. So I have nothing on 15740 at all here. So it must be coming from Asia. One of those Asian signals from the West Coast or something. Yeah, apparently a little problem here. So nobody's got kicked out, right? I think it's going to be okay. So everybody's back in normal. Okay. So David KJ4CMY, be careful with that, please. Be important to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because if it does, I'll have to remove your moderator status, my friend. Hope you understand. Okay, so what else do we have? Curl icon 15740 is the same programming as 15770. One of SDR sounds like Spanish or Italian. 15770 is French, but if you're hearing 15740, you're hearing something that is you're hearing an image there, something that's weird because yeah, sorry guys. Hope everybody's all right. Nobody did anything bad. Don't worry. Some kind of little problem with technology here. Our friend David KJ4CMY says sorry. It's accidental. So nobody did anything bad, guys. Don't worry. All good. What else do we have? Dave says, I was trying to say that I tried a copper loop on my MLA and found close to the same performance with the stock. Yeah, for the same size, changing, for copper or anything, I don't think changes performance really. It might be, if you use a big sturdy copper cable, might be more solid to stay in shape, but apart from that, should pretty much do the same thing. Yeah. Robbie Strike says, I get trolls in my live streams. I got rickrolled a few weeks back. I take calls using Restream. The live is live. Anything can happen, and we always got to take care and check out what's happening. That's what's cool in a sense here about when somebody asks me why there's so many moderators. Hey, anybody that wants to fool around, you get kicked out real fast. So anyways, nobody did anything bad. Don't worry, guys. It's really just an accident here that seems to have happened. David KJ4CMY says that he's sorry it happened with his apparently his phone in his pocket. So if the screen was on, maybe it was doing something. So what else do we have? Activity Xer, yes, la fin du monde. I had a big fin du monde here today. That was my beer of choice. Sikaris, a wee bit of technical differences, accidents happen. Yes, absolutely. U.S. Coast Guard for 8764. Let's check it out. 8764, which is in Chesapeake, Virginia.
A significant wave height, which is the average height of the highest 1/3 of the wave. Individual waves may be more than twice the significant. 290 north between 55.
So Chesapeake, Virginia, I would guess.
Synopsis. A wind north of the area will support fresh to strong trade winds over the south central Caribbean through Thursday. Winds will also pass fresh to
Chesapeake,
strong
Virginia,
nightly in the
8764, upper sideband.
Thursday night. A surge in moisture will increase showers across the eastern Caribbean tonight through Monday. Northwest Caribbean west of 85 west tonight. East winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Sunday.
Alex, when operating a mobile, it's usually a good idea to get it out of your pocket.
Sunday night. East winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 4 to 6 feet. Monday.
Daniel is hearing nothing on 15740. Yeah, you guys are more on the West Coast, so probably hearing something from Asia coming in there. Okay, Kamagzi 76, you're out. I can't accept that. Never gonna give you up. There was somebody in my feed this week that posted, what is the song that is going to definitely make you change the radio? And I posted Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. Call icons. Does the SI 4732 ATS-20 receive airband? Nope, it does not. It does not. And for those that are wondering what it is, what's that little thing we're talking about? Is this little thing here. Here we go. This little thing. I haven't finished talking about it. I don't know what it is, if it's the fact that it's kind of a little experimental radio, kind of homemade style a little bit. I kind of like using it. I kind of love it. Especially on the MLA 30 when I use the outdoor antenna. It works great. It doesn't work very well on the telescopic because of the noise that goes in it, but On the MLA30, I kind of like using it. It's kind of a little device that is kind of cool to use, and I find it fun. So honestly, I kind of find it really fun to use. Definitely. So, one of those little cute little things. It's like, even though I didn't have good luck with it, I kind of find it cool to, that little Chinese DSP thing with the touchscreen. Kind of fun to use also. I'm having fun. They're kind of unusual radios. It's kind of refreshing. It's kind of different from using whatever you have usually. I kind of like it. So, Cal, nice to have you here from San Diego.
Wednesday night, east winds 10 to 20 knots.
Just tank Modit. Yes, it does have a. It does have a very unique taste to it. But yes, it is good. Modit reminds me of when my dad has his shack up north, and I would go there a lot in the 90s, and I would buy for the weekend I would buy like a case of 12 Modit, which I would not all drink alone because it's still 8%, but I would share it with some of my friends. We would go up north in the shack and just have a cool weekend out in the woods, and would have Modit and listen to some music. It's kind of cool. Good memories of my early adult years. Christian Marcoux, yes, we got bouncers here, and anybody that doesn't behave well is going to be kicked out. No, I can tell you, Sid, 15770 is French. It is Radio Prague in French, and not Portuguese.
7 to 10 feet.
Take care, Tom DX there. James Johnson, nice to have you on board from Florida.
7 to 10 feet. Tuesday night.
WA4439 4493 SWL.
7 to 10 feet. Wednesday. East winds 15 to 20.
When you put your phone, the William Helm's talking about auto screen rotate.
Wednesday night.
And I still remember first time I had a real smartphone with a touch screen, which was an iPhone. I think it was an iPhone 3GS or something. Put it in my shirt pocket. And what happens is that because it's touching you all the time, the screen is never, like if it unlocks, the screen is like always on because there's always something touching it, and all these apps would open up, and I wouldn't notice because my shirt pocket would get super warm because the phone was doing so many things that it would get hot. And I was like, oh man, there's tons of things happening here on my phone. So it's understandable.
Monday night.
Robbie Strike. I have Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up as my ringtone now. Oh God, please. Phil Tube, nice to have you on board from England. St. Gian 909X, cool. Madrid DX, Jill, what about the song from Celine Dion or Justin Bieber, please? I cannot listen to Celine or Justin Bieber at all. I almost want to listen to Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, rather than that. God. Justin Bieber particularly is like, please. Oh, please. Well, you're not getting Sound of Hope. You're probably getting a Chinese, a CNR1 jammer, Canadian Radio TV guy. Like I said, Sound of Hope doesn't make it here at all. It's a very, very weak station. They have like 100 watts. It's not heard really outside of that area much. So probably CNR1 is jamming it on 15740, and that's what you're hearing. Nobody in North America has ever heard Sound of Hope. So it probably is a CNR1 jamming that's on that frequency. That's why it wouldn't be listed. It's not listed because it's one of the new frequencies from Sound of Hope. And China is really quick at like taking CNR1 and like putting it on the frequency where they are. They must have some monitors. I guess China has like a group of monitors that go through the shortwave spectrum, and anywhere they hear something that shouldn't be there, they just put in a CNR1 jammer on it. They must have some kind of team that listens to it and it's like, quick, 15740. Long 2112, my shoulder conditions are so bad, I think I fired a steel beast instead. Take care. Stay safe.
Wednesday. East winds 10 to 20 knots. East 5 to 7 feet. Wednesday night. East winds 10 to 20 knots. East 5 to 7 feet. Thursday.
As we have.
East winds 10 to 20 knots. East 5 to 7 feet. Thursday night.
My Z76, I throw myself on the mercy of the shortwave court. John O'Connor, nice to have you here from Oregon. M Stacks, do they run cars for kids ads in Canada? Instant tune out for me. I don't know. I've never heard that or seen that at all. PhilTube 46, love shortwave all my life. Cool. Take care, long 2112. Robert Osborne has Radio Exterior de España on 11940. Let's check 9830. Should be coming in this time if they're on. Wow. Voice of Turkey is behind the U.S. Navy RTTY. If you go on 9830, lower sideband, you will hear Voice of Turkey. But tonight, the radio teletype from the U.S. Navy is so strong that 9830, Voice of Turkey in English, is washed out with the radio teletype signal. I mean, I've heard radio teletype signal kind of interfere with Voice of Turkey, but not that much. This one is that's crazy right now. That is totally jamming Voice of Turkey right now, at least here. But if you guys want to try it, 9830 kilohertz is Voice of Turkey in English. John O'Connor has a C-Crane CC Skywave SSB. Great little radio. So that little thing here. This is what it looks like. I was wondering what it is. That's the C-Crane Skywave SSB. Nice little rig here. I need to do more videos. I need to compare that with some of the new radios also. Compare it with the Texan PL 330 and stuff like that. I haven't done yet. Jay Watterson 69, nice to have you on board. Sid says the Scotch whiskey may be affecting my hearing. Man. So 15740, yeah. Probably a CNR jammer. Did you hear time beeps? Canadian Radio TV guy? That is the one that gives away the CNR1. If it has time pips, time tones at the top of the hour, if you heard that before they signed off, but I'm pretty sure you heard CNR1, unfortunately. Justin Bieber song to keep out pests away, outdoor pests away. Madrid the Xer says, my phone in my pocket once called the emergency services. Oops. Long 2112's got Miller beer. RJ Dakota, Spirit of Radio Rush. Yep. Oh, man. Jerry DX. His phone called the hottest chick in high school. What do you want? Mad Reader DX UK says, oh, my bad, not Sound of Hope. Was getting it confused with Radio Free Asia. That's what happens when I'm tired. Make mistakes. We all do. I mean, Radio Free Asia also gets jammed by CNR1, but because of their different transmitter sites, you can actually hear Radio Free Asia because it's much more powerful. PhilTube says, loves listening to raw in and out shortwave frequency. It's magic. So what do we have here? Mickey Dalmich says 15740.122 still on past 22 UTC. Propagation is changing, so not too much audio. This is a fun chase. You know what is interesting, Mickey, is the fact that it's off frequency a little bit. And most of the Chinese national radio frequencies are very stable and on frequency. I think that's a definite, did you hear time pips at the top of the hour, Mickey? Out of curiosity? Because that's the giveaway of CNR1. Sound of Hope does not have time pips. So it's kind of a very interesting thing. 13276. 13276. Not hearing anything here. Brian Penny, nice to have you here from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Jed Crafter, 9830, receiving well in Maine with both voice and the radio teletype. Mike Thompson, nice to have you here. 9830 in Abilica DX in the UK, no jamming. Yeah, because the 9830-ish, it's 9831 kilohertz for the radio teletype. Might not be heard in Europe, actually. But here in North America, it's sometimes a big problem. James Johnson, since installing my new Antron 99 antenna, I've been on 11 meter and have made DX contacts as far as Barbados. Nice. Kevin, how did the C-Crane shortwave radio hold up? Does it still work? So, yeah, it still works. But one of the things I've noticed most of the C-Crane radio, Kevin, is that when I put it up against, and a few times I went to the D Expedition in Perry Island, and using just a telescopic antenna, I put it up against last year, the XH Data D808. It's not as sensitive. A few stations coming in on telescopic on the D808 were barely audible on this C-Crane. So what it tells me is that the C-Crane CC Skywave SSB is not that it's a bad radio, but it's not as sensitive. It has a little bit of problem of sensitivity there. I need to take it out for a spin again. It's not been tested much in a little while now, so we're gonna take it out for a spin, make some videos, and we'll compare it to the Texan PL330 this week. I think that would be a nice match. What else do we have? Oh, maybe because the RTTY. I'm going to go back to 9830. The RTTY. When the RTTY stops, it becomes just a tone. Nope, still RTTY. I have to go in lower sideband to actually listen to Voice of Turkey 9830. It's really RTTY. Oh, the bigger C crane. The bigger C crane actually is last time I've used it has some kind of weird glitches on it. It's so funny because it makes me feel like the grande. You know, I when I talked about it in the YouTube video a while back, I was like telling everybody how it makes me feel like it's a Grundig S450 DLX in so many ways. And the Grundig S450 DLX that I got here is like totally zero. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't tune. It doesn't have audio. It doesn't have nothing. I mean, I did nothing with it except listening to shortwave for I don't even know if it has more than 50 or 60 hours of use. And it's pretty much a dead radio. What I noticed is that the big C crane has a kind of a similar slope. Last time I turned it on about, I don't know, a month ago, it had a hard time getting back to working order. It was kind of weird. And immediately it made me think of, man, that is so much like the Grundig S450 DLX. Kind of weird degradation of the radio itself. And you don't even use it that much and don't even do that much. It's so bizarre. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna take it out this week also. There's a few radios I haven't used in a while that I haven't done videos in a while also, and I'll power it up this week and I'll make a few videos. You're gonna see what it looks like. It is so weird. It's like quality control on these were not that great. I can tell you. Sergeant Rock, not much luck chasing 15740 in Hawaii, so it's not making it to Hawaii apparently. Christian Marcoux, I see you have a ring on your finger. If you want to answer, of course. I am married. Yes. I am married. Absolutely. And we'll leave it at that. Parig Nolan, nice to have you here. Voice of Turkey in English being received on 9830 here in Celbridge, Ireland. No interference here. Target to North America. Yep. Mickey Dalmage, no time pips. I've had Sound of Hope here in the past with Parallel, but it is a chase. Wolfgang Buchel, Ron Howard do an excellent job tracking all those off frequencies that move around to avoid the jammers. That's interesting. So no time pips. And the fact that it's off frequency a little bit. That is interesting. Huh. Could it be Sound of Hope? That is an interesting one. That's an interesting chase tonight. Could it be Sound of Hope? Definitely. Rich KPHCW on 12808.4. 12808.4. Not hearing it here right now, but KPH in Point Reyes, California, is a weekend. It's on Saturdays, actually. KPH is on Saturdays, usually. So you should be hearing that one. Let me just search for the frequencies here. If you guys want to try KPH, it's on Saturday from 17 to 23 UTC. And the frequencies are 22477.5. So let's try it. Let's try those here. Oh. So 22477.5, not hearing a thing. 17016.8. Not hearing a thing. We have 12808.5. It's there. It's not very strong, but it's there. Then you have, yeah, you hear it now. 8642, 6477.5, 4247, and on 426 kilohertz. Those that are really, really close there, 426 kilohertz. So that's from Point Reyes, California. It's activated once a week on Saturday only. And it's kind of a reactivation that's done with the what's it called, the Historical Society of I forget the full name of it, but it's always nice. Take care, Bobby Burgess. Always nice to have you here. If we're not back when you get back, M1MBZ, use my XHD 808 with a U-loop clone. Works surprisingly well. Was listening to Mystery Radio 21 a couple of nights ago. Cool. John O'Connor, I have the twin coil ferret AM antenna from Sea Crane. Cool. Any recommendations for travel shortwave radio? You know what? As a travel shortwave radio, because of its size, I think the Texan PL330 would be an amazing radio. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's here on the little stand. So here's on the stand, but it's really small. It packs a lot of features for the price. Has single sideband, ETM scan. Texan PL330 would be at a price point where, you know, if you're afraid to get it, if you get it stolen, it's not too much of a loss, and it would be, and that because of its price, it would be probably a great travel radio, honestly. Yeah, 73. A lot of people don't know what they are. 7388. 73 is like kind regards, farewell. 88 is kind of a hugs and kisses for a female. 88 is for the women, and 73 is usually used for like the man. It's kind of the way it works. Kevin, I was just wondering because I had the text of the Sea Crane retune before I sent it to you. Interesting. I wonder if it was more than parts were getting scarce. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering also, because their official story is that the radio isn't made anymore or can't be repaired because of lack of parts. But I found it so funny that it follows the same curve as my Grundig S450 DLX and how it's degrading. Because, you know, I have a hard time understanding that I don't use a radio for 3 months, and when I turn it on, it doesn't turn on again. I have a hard time understanding that. I you know, that must be really bad electronics in there. I'm wondering if they haven't just kind of like the Grundig S450 DLX. I mean, both are beautiful, big radios that have great sound and everything. But I'm wondering if somewhere they fell on a bunch of bad capacitors or something, and everything is just going bad without even doing anything. So it's kind of weird. Glenn, late again. Deducted from my paycheck. Well, you're so late that you'll have to actually pay me back. Thanks for your explanation of the E-layer last week. Nice to have you here, Glenn. KB9IN. Keegan says, I had problems tuning on my Grunding S450 DLX radio I got in 2012 as of late. There's something weird with that radio. It's unfortunate because it's, I'll say it again, even the C-Crane. I mean, they're beautiful big radios, the one that we like to have in our hands. If you're a guy like me, you like big radios. I mean, those little radios are fun. But when you got a big one, there's something about it. And it's sad because it's like, wow, what's happening with these things? The Grundig S450 is so dead that what I'm going to do is actually take it apart and make videos of me taking it apart, looking inside, seeing what we can do to, it doesn't work. So what do I got to lose to open it and see if I can do something about it? Nothing. So, I think that could be a nice way of doing it. But I find it so weird. And it's sad because they are nice radios. Robert Osborne, 15610, the WEWN station from the Catholic radio, coming in very well in Niagara Falls. ELVR Galarga, how can I get the MLA30 working on GQRX? I'm able to get shortwave, but unable to hear any hams. Well, the MLA30 Plus is an antenna. So GQRX is something that controls a radio. So what you need is the radio and not the MLA30 Plus. The MLA30 Plus is not a radio. It's an antenna that plugs into a radio. And the radio will actually connect to GQRX. An SDR of some sort. Anybody picking up weather info on 10812 killer? Okay, that's interesting. 10812. Let's go back here. 10812. I've got nothing here. And are you an upper sideband, Carl? 10812. I don't recall anything weather there. 2. I don't recall. There's nothing listed here. Huh. Interesting. Mad Radio DXer, I know Voice of Vietnam have had image modulation issues recently on the shortwave bands. I received an image of them the other week, and I was able, and it was on the U20 SDR. Oh, that's interesting. That's a possibility. Jim, nice to have you here from Rhode Island. And Kevin, I have the Aaron Field satellite at work. One day it just stopped functioning. Sad, but happens at times. Yeah, I call it. That is I think bad parts and bad quality control, or maybe wanting to. Daniel says, my wife told me before we married, no holes in the roof to mount antennas. So I put the holes in the wall. N6 RLS, nice to have you on board. As usual, yes, I said that earlier. MHRS, the Maritime Historical Society. Thank you for answering my question. Mickey's, interesting that the peak audio on 15740.122 was just as sunrise was happening in Taiwan. Not a perfect gray line to Alberta, but close. Still a carrier. Huh. Kind of interesting. Brad in Amarillo is hearing 12808.5 loud and clear in Texas. Radioactive, nice to have you on board. Take care, Dave. Always nice to have you here. What else do we have? James Johnson, did anyone watch the new indie movie called Lost Signals about the Marconi operators? Oh, no. Need to check that out. Dimitri, who's jamming the Chinese signals? No one. No one is jamming the Chinese signals. That's the thing. They're jamming everything, but we're not jamming them. Yeah, because I guess we aren't afraid of the truth, maybe. I don't know. Another weird broadcaster at 15685. You're in that area where you're getting a lot of signals. I'm not getting anything here. And according to... So 15685 is actually what you might be hearing right now is Adventist World Radio in Mandarin Chinese from the Guam transmitter site. So if it's Chinese, you're hearing AWR from the Guam transmitter site in the Pacific Ocean. So that could be a very possible signal for you in Alberta, honestly. Yeah, it started. You know what, Keegan? My radio, my S450 DLX started like that. It would not tune the way I wanted. So at first it worked. When it started doing these weird things, it started tuning either the opposite way, or it would kind of random tune. You would tune and it was like, whoa, what's happening? Sometimes it wouldn't respond. That's how it started on my radio. Now it's dead. I mean, the only thing that works when I put batteries in it is I see the clock. That works. So it's becoming a clock radio. Actually, a clock with no radio. It's weird. So that's how it started on mine, Keegan. So it's very, very weird. It's as if something is happening inside the radio. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to check it out. Yeah, these Amid Up things, Yelvarga Larga, are have a lot of noise. A lot of people are not happy with them. And 6RLS says, wonder what CRI's power bill looks like. I don't know, but they're spending millions of dollars a year, that's for sure. Josh. Miki Delman, Jill, once this COVID thing stops and you get a chance to come out of here for a visit, you will be the kid in the candy store when it comes to Asia Pacific stations. I can wait. I'm pretty sure. Just look at what you guys get. I tuned the Kiwi SDR and Lamont all the time, and I just tune around and I'm like, well, if I'd hear that here in Montreal, I would be such a happy kid. I'd be back to my 13-year-old radio listening. But I can tell you one thing, Mickey, it will happen. It's not, it will never happen, or it's not I'm saying that. I can tell you one thing, Mickey, I will be there in Alberta at some point, and we will have radio fun together and have a few beers. I think it's going to be a great time together. For sure. Please tell me about that tassel on your mic boom. I have one and I don't know why. Oh, what are you talking about exactly? Here, this thing is for preventing me from breathing into the microphone. This thing? What are you talking? What exactly are you talking about, Wizard of Oz? Daniel did search for PL330 on Anonco, was shown as seller. Anyone used Anonco is the best place to get it. Yeah, but Keegan, be wary that when that starts to happen, you're starting to have the problem slowly. So be careful. Take care, Mad Radio DXer. Always nice to have you on board. Yeah, that thing here. Yeah. So I got that from the a Chinese eBay seller because my radio was too late. They're supposed to bring us good luck and lots of money, man. So hang it to something that you use all the time. Have them real close to you. They're supposed to bring you fortune and happiness. Unfortunately, it's sad because the S450 DLX, like I said, Keegan is like an amazing radio. It's really a nice big radio. Radio Telescope M0 ISA. Nice to have you on board, my friend, from the UK. Yeah, so you and me, Wizard of Oz, are going to be rich soon. It's one of those Chinese tradition things. So who knows? Who knows? If I do get rich because of that, maybe that's going to help. If I get rich because of this thing, everybody gets an ICOM ICR 9500. That's all right. I'll be shipping them to everybody in the chat room. Of course, it's got to be more than just like, $50,000. It's got to be like millions. But I will send everybody. Now, everybody's recording this, so they can sue me the day I'm going to be like a multimillionaire. Man. So, yes, it's that time, guys. I am going to say goodbye for tonight. I'm going to make some tacos for supper. And if you're not already on the AKW 1161, nice to have you here from Tucson, Arizona. If you're not already, go into the Facebook group. And tonight I'll be listening to the radio here and sharing what I'm listening to. So hope you guys will enjoy. Thanks everybody for being here all the time. And it's always fun to have you on board. We tuned the bands. We heard some signals there. Don't forget, for whatever is left, there's the crossband U.S. Army crossband day today. So it's like amateur radios stations and U.S. Army stations can communicate through crossband. So many stations from the U.S. Army are on their own frequencies, and of course, amateur radio stations can call them on amateur radio bands that are stated there. Don't know. We're going to hear it. Let's try it again, just out of curiosity. 9448.5 was one of the stations earlier. Not hearing much right now, but stay safe, everybody. Love you all. So Paul Richardson says the Chinese rocket should be entering our atmosphere within 4 hours. So stay safe. Take care, everybody. Always nice to have you on board. So Rich in Atlanta says Armed Forces responding to 14333 on 14438.5. Let's check it out. 14438.5 upper sideband. Anything here? Anything here? Let's see if we hear something. In Radio TV guy says lots of fun here tonight. Some weird ass propagation here in Sherwood Park. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. WDX50. Mike, take care. Stay safe. Hey, I'm hearing something real weak in the background. Yeah, they are here. 14438. It's not very strong, but I'm hearing the stations. 14438.5 upper sideband. Sorry, Bobby Burgess, but after a couple of hours, this guy's a little tired tonight. Oh yeah, please do, TVDXer. You have to come to the barbecue and everything. That'll be fun, TVDXer. So stay safe, and hope that you enjoy radio tonight, and that will be, of course, back on Wednesday as usual. So take care, my friends. Always nice to have you on board. That is an interesting question, Kamexi76. That State Farm house insurance cover Chinese. Does it cover Chinese rockets falling on your house? You know how insurance is always finding a way to not pay for anything. That's going to be one. It's like, you haven't signed for Chinese rockets falling on your house. Dimitri, what do you pick up in Canada below 60 megahertz? So 30 to 50 megahertz, there's still some signals from businesses. There's not a lot of them, but there's from time to time. And you know what? I should actually do a big scan. A big scan of that frequency range. I haven't done that range in such a long time, but a couple of years ago was probably the last time. Still heard a few businesses using that frequency range. I still hear a couple of baby monitors locally on the just below 50 megahertz, and of course 50 to 54 is the 6 meter band, so there's amateur activity there. 54 to 60, I haven't heard anything special in that range. It used to be the range where there was the TV stations audio and stuff, but that now is kind of quiet. But you know what? I need to be scanning that a little more. So you know, that's the thing that's happening. So take care, everybody. Sorry, Bobby Burgess, but this guy is going to say 73. Take care, have fun, and see you soon on the shortwave bands. Bye-bye, everybody.